witness we're going to hear from today is Dervorgilla. Good afternoon. Before lunch, we heard from King Tiernan O'Ruairc, King of Breifne. You're his wife, is that the case?
I am.
And despite being married to him, you live in Malachy Abbey. That strikes me quite strange. Would you explain how that's the case and give us background to your marriage?
My marriage was not one of my choosing. You must understand that as a daughter of the King of Meath, my marriage was arranged to create an alliance with a neighbouring king, Tiernan O'Ruairc, King of Breifne. I was born to a powerful and noble king, whose lands were rich and bountiful, and whose kingdom had ancient connections to Tara and the High Kings of Ireland. I was only 20 years old when I was married.
And in what year was that?
1128.
And 1128 is the same year that Rory O'Connor, High King of Ireland, asked your husband, Tiernan O'Ruairc, to attack Diarmuid MacMurrough, King of Leinster. And in doing so, your husband killed cattle, burned all before him, destroyed Leinster, and ousted Diarmuid MacMurrough. Isn't that the case?
Yes.
And what age was Mr. MacMurrough at that point?
He was just 18 years old.
And is it the case that some 24 years later, the High King then asked Diarmuid to attack your husband's territory in Breifne?
I believe it was so.
And do you know why the High King changed alliance from an alliance with your husband to attacking him instead?
I do not. Who understands the politics of this island?
And did your husband treat you kindly?
He did not.
And what's your relationship with Diarmuid MacMurrough?
I have known Diarmuid MacMurrough since my youth. Our families were friends, and we would meet when matters of kingships were discussed.
And tell me about the day in 1152 when he brought you to Ferns.
My husband was away on pilgrimage. I was in my bedchamber when my maid gave me the message that Diarmuid MacMurrough was outside waiting to take me to Ferns.
And did you ask him to take you to Ferns?
I do not wish to answer that.
Well, did you go willingly to Ferns?
I did. I was prepared and brought my cattle and furniture as I was entitled to under the law.
Thank you. You might answer any questions my friends have for you.
Yes, Mr. Harmon.
Yes, Judge, thank you. Gerald of Wales will say in his evidence that you'd long entertained a passion for Diarmuid, and you took advantage of the absence of your husband and allowed yourself to be ravished, not against your will. And he will also say that as the nature, and I'm quoting as to what his intended evidence is, the nature of women is fickle and given to change. She thus became the prey of the spoiler by her own contrivance. For as Mark Antony and Troy are witnesses, almost all the greatest evils in the world have arisen from women. What would you say to that?
They are untrue. I went with Diarmuid MacMurrough so that I would be out of the way of battle. I went to Ferns at the behest of my brother. He asked Diarmuid MacMurrough to take me to Ferns for my protection. Like many women of noble birth, I was not given much choice in those matters. Gerald of Wales is not known for his love of respect for women, nor for the Irish for that matter. He is a man under the control of the King of England. He is a vain, egotistical man and not a reliable judge of character, nor given to telling the truth.
Can I put it to you that Diarmuid MacMurrough did not love you, and that he only took you to Ferns to avenge your husband's previous actions?
Diarmuid MacMurrough has always acted honourably towards me. He is someone who I've always been able to rely on. When he took me to Ferns, he ensured I was taken to safety and out of the way of battle.
If you were so unhappy in your marriage, under Brehon law, there was a remedy that was available to you. Can I put it to you that by your own actions, you've played a major part, a major role in this fiasco, and you've caused your country to be taken over by the foreigners?
I did as I was entitled to under law. I left my husband, who did not treat me well, and brought with me what I brought into the marriage, as well as what I contributed during the marriage. It was not up to me to pay the honour price to my husband. You will need to ask others as to why this country was taken over by foreigners. It was certainly not due to any actions of mine.
Thank you very much. If you answer any questions, Mr. Prasifka may have.
Yes, Dervorgilla. Were you happy when your father arranged your marriage to Tiernan?
It is not the place for a king's daughter to be happy or not.
But-
it is her duty to marry whoever the king wishes in order to keep the peace.
But what did you know of Tiernan before you married him?
I knew him to be a violent and ruthless man.
And you say that your marriage was not a happy one. Could you elaborate?
It was a marriage without love. He cared for his horse more than he did for me.
And how would you describe my own client, Diarmuid MacMurrough?
He is a man of vision, passion, and ambition.
And would you just clarify for this inquiry, were you kidnapped?
I was not.
Could you just repeat that?
I was not kidnapped.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you very much.